Your Honor, can you hear us?
Yes,
There we go.
Yes, sorry, we had to turn TV on and all right, we are on the record. It is July 31st, 2020. This is Judge Wish, courtroom BRC 1 into BRC 2 by video. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Kathy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Pedro Matos with the Public Defender.
Please don't be the voicemail.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Alan Figueroa, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter.
Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. This is Judge Wish, and have you been sworn in this morning?
Yes, Your Honor. Just one quick question, Your Honor. Is the defendant in courtroom 2 or courtroom 3?
2.
2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let me know when you've been able to make contact.
The defendant can hear me, Your Honor.
Perfect. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Fernando Gomez.
All right. Mr. Gomez, you're here in case number... Oh, I have 2 Gomez's. Okay. So I have Fernando. All right. You're here in case number 2020 MM 5543AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause for that offense. Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you have an offer?
I did not, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Gomez, the state does not have an offer to resolve your case today. It's likely because it's an enhanceable offense. So I am going to order that you're not to return back to the Walmart Neighborhood Market at 4520 South Cimarron Boulevard. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. You've only been living here for 3 days?
Huh?
You've only been living in Orlando for 3 days, is that correct?
No, llevo más tiempo.
No, I've been living here longer.
Okay, you just moved in with your sister 3 days ago?
Sí,
Yes.
por la hermana de mi esposa.
My sister's wife.
Okay, and is that at the, do you have an address?
Actualmente ahora no me recuerdo la dirección nueva.
I don't remember the new address right now.
Okay, so I'll stay the bond or pretrial release if he's able to be qualified. If he does not have an address today, I'm not going to release him ROR, but he can't tell me where he's living. So, Mr. Gomez, you have a $250 bond or pretrial release if they're able to qualify you, okay?
Pero espérate, yo tengo una dirección donde me llegaron las cartas.
I have the address where I received the letters.
Okay, well, that's what I asked. So what's your address?
5817 Fifth Flat Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. Cimarron Boulevard.
5817 Cimarron Boulevard, Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
Do we know the zip code?
32678.
I didn't hear.
¿Cuál es, señor?
What was the zip code?
32789.
Your Honor, the interpreter is a little confused. At first he said 32678, and then he said 3298.
32789. That's a Winter
Three-
Park. Okay. Is it Winter Park, Florida? Is it Winter Park, Florida?
Seymour Boulevard.
No, on Samarin Boulevard.
That's the street. What's the city? Is it Winter Park?
It's Winter Park, Your Honor.
Yeah, 32789 is Winter Park.
Orlando.
Orlando.
I don't think so.
It's Winter Park. I used to live in that street.
Right, so is there apartment number?
Yeah. 5114.
Yes, 5114.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Gomez, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. We have that address now. You're gonna need to make sure that you show up to court. They're gonna give you a court date when you get released. Don't miss that court date, okay?
Okay, correcto.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's Winter Park or Orlando. Yeah.
I'm sorry for the confusion, Your Honor, for the interpreter. He was just giving me two separate zip codes, so
That's
I didn't
fine.
know which one to go for.
It's fine, thank you. Excuse me. Good morning, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Katia Gomez.
All right, Miss Gomez, you're here in.
Your Honor, for Ms. Gomez, I have a double jeopardy challenge based on the two batteries arising from the same
Okay,
incident.
so double jeopardy doesn't exist at initial appearance. That would be at sentencing, or
Yes, Your
if a
Honor.
defendant pled to the bench.
Yes,
Okay,
Your
so
Honor.
if you had a trial and you were gonna sentence somebody, the court could not sentence them unless they waived that double jeopardy and entered a negotiated plea. So that's when double jeopardy comes into play.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay, so, all right, so Ms. Gomez, you're here in 2020 CF 9164AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery with a motor vehicle and battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I will appoint the public defender. We do have a witness present. Ma'am, do you need the interpreter as well?
No, ma'am.
Okay, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna need to speak a lot louder and into the microphone, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down now. State your name for me and and spell your last name.
Ana Gomez Cely. Gomescely.
All right, Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you want to inquire?
Yes, Miss Gomez Cely. How do you know Katia Gomez?
She's my mother.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Are you concerned if something that something would happen to you in the future, or she would attempt to drive a vehicle into you again in the future?
No, ma'am.
Were drugs or alcohol related to this incident?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
No, ma'am.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Amato?
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, do you all live together?
Correct.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Do you either of you have another place to go?
I mean, I can leave and she can stay at the house.
You can leave the house. Okay. So the facts of the case, from what I'm reading, I'm a little concerned, okay, about contact at this time. It doesn't mean it can't be changed at a later date in writing.
Yes, ma'am.
But based on what the officers witnessed themselves, I'm concerned, okay? So Ms. Gomez, I'm gonna order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with your daughter. That can be changed in writing by a judge at a later date. But I'm gonna order that today. So I'm gonna have you sign the no contact order form. Did you understand everything on that form? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm gonna order that you maintain a separate residence. Your daughter's indicated that she can leave the residence. I just wanna make sure you have a place to go. I don't wanna force you out of your home, okay? And so if she's not at the residence, you can live at the residence, okay? I'm gonna put in there just in an abundance of caution that she can go back with law enforcement if she needs to, if for some reason the victim has not vacated the residence. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to place Ms. Gomez on pretrial release. You will be released today, and so make sure you comply with the court's order as well as pretrial release. It'll be phone in contact, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right, and can I have the interpreter, can you make an announcement in the gallery to see if anybody else needs the services of the interpreter?
Sure thing, Your Honor.
To raise their
A,
hand.
a las personas que están en el público para testificar, si alguien necesita el intérprete de español, por favor levante la mano.
All right, I don't see any hands raised. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
All right, have a great weekend.
You as well.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Devontae Wilkerson.
All right, Mr. Wilkerson, you're here in case number 2020 CF 9106AO. And you were arrested for aggravated battery with a motor vehicle, leaving the scene of a crash with injuries and violating the no contact order that was already in place. And there's probable cause for those offenses, and I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And I don't believe we have any witnesses present. Okay, so I'm going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. Again, there's already a no contact order in place. That's also with any witnesses in the case. So, Mr. Wilkerson, did you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond on count 1 is $5,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $150. Your bond on count 3 will be $500. I'm also revoking the release in 2020 MM 5358AO. That bond will be set at none. And does he have the public defender already? He does. Okay, so the public defender's office, Mr. Wilkerson, will have to file a motion to set bond for you in that matter. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Please tell me your name.
Kimberly Belangi.
All right, Ms. Belangi, you're here in 2020 CF 8487AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for cruelty towards a child and battery domestic violence. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. And do we have any witnesses? No. Okay, so I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, you must maintain a separate residence. You may return one time. Oh, I'm sorry. And you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I don't believe that you live at that residence?
I did, but I can stay at my mom's. It's not a problem.
But do you need to go back and get anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And it looks like DCF is involved, so you'll need to comply with any DCF investigation that they may have pending. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $500. Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Matt Davis.
Mr. Davis, you're here in 2020 CF 9145AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery domestic violence. I do find there's probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses? No? Okay. So, Mr. Davis, I'm ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign that no contact order. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time to the residence with law enforcement to get any personal belongings that you may need. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. It's going to be 2 times weekly reporting, but it's by phone, okay?
Okay.
So make sure you comply with that. And any random urinalysis, I'll order that, and so they may randomly test you for any drugs or alcohol, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good luck, sir.
I do have one
Yes?
question. I do need to
Sure.
return to the house to pick up my car and some clothes.
I believe that I did give you a one-time return with law
Okay, I was
enforcement
just making sure.
already. You did. I did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please tell me your name.
Ricardo Pedraza Olmera.
All right, Mr. Olmeda, you're here in 2020 CF 9141AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault with
There's
a
a victim, Your
weapon
Honor.
and battery domestic violence.
There's a
And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in the case. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
I can hear.
Can you raise your, not you, sir. Can you raise your right hand? Okay. Can you hear me?
I
Do you need the interpreter?
no, but I can hear very well. I'm
Okay.
a little deaf.
Okay, I'll try and talk really loud. Is that better? Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name for me, please?
Limari Ortiz, Ortiz.
Okay. And Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you want to inquire?
Yes. Miss Ortiz, how do you know Mr. Olmeda?
I know him from Puerto Rico, from my neighborhood.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes.
Do you want contact with him while this case is pending?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr.
No questions
Armando?
from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So I am going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the matter. And Mr. Almeida, I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on the form?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Does he have items at the residence?
Nothing.
Okay. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. If you have any firearms or any weapons, then you must surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500. Your bond on count 2 is $500. You're out on release in 2019 CF 14557AO. I am going to revoke the release and set that bond at none at this time. Does he have the public defender?
He was previously appointed.
Okay, so you do have the public defender in that matter, and they'll be able to file any appropriate motions to set bond for you. Okay, sir?
Okay.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
ma'am. All right, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Sabrina Polonese.
Ms. Polanese, you're here in 2020 CF 8989AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for domestic battery by strangulation and battery dating violence. I do find, there was probable cause found. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. We do have a witness present. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're very tall, so you may have to get a little bit closer to the microphone so that we can all hear you. I know it's a little uncomfortable. Can you state your name for me and spell your last name?
Jermaine Lamont
Bryant, Bryant, Senior.
Mr. Bryant? Okay. And Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you want to inquire?
Yes. Are you afraid of Ms. Palmice?
No, ma'am.
Would you like for her to be allowed to have contact with you while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
If anything happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean?
If she got violent with you or aggressive towards you in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
If I had to, I would, but it's not going to happen.
All right, may I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
And has anything like this happened in the past?
No, ma'am.
No further
Just a
questions?
misunderstanding.
Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Matos?
No questions for the defense,
Okay.
Your Honor.
I have a question about the felony battery that she's on probation for. Were you the victim in that matter?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bryant, for your testimony.
That
I
victim
see
is a cousin.
Huh?
That victim is a cousin.
The cousin.
One of her cousins.
Her cousin. Yeah. Did you want to say something, sir?
Yeah,
It's hard for me to hear you, so
if I would add, she cares for me a lot at home, so I need her to. That's the only person that takes care of me.
but based on my review of the affidavit, sir, and the fact that you had to go to the hospital based on your injuries, I'm not comfortable allowing contact today. It doesn't mean that it can't be changed in writing by a judge at a later date. So I am going to order no contact today. And I know that that's not what you want, but that's what I feel comfortable doing. So that's what I'm going to do. So, Ms. Polanese, I'm going to have you sign the no contact order, and her attorney can file a motion today if they wish to do so to modify that. And that would be heard in Division 22, and that's the judge that would hear that motion. Ms. Polanese, did you understand everything on that form?
What form?
The no contact order that you signed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And there's no hold for her on.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I am going to set your bond on count 1 at $1,500, count 2 $500. And Mr. Bryant, if you wish to speak to the state attorney's office about the case, then you can call them and talk to them about what you want to happen with the matter, okay?
Can I get somebody to write the case number down for me?
I can write it down on a sticky note. We can pass it to you.
I'll write it down, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
It also has the state attorney's number.
I'm sorry?
The number for the state attorney's office is also on the card.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Darius Van Buren Sermon.
Mr. Sermon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're here in 2020 CF 5024AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a capias. The state did file an information, and a court did find probable cause for battery, one prior battery conviction as a domestic violence case. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that matter. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses in the case. I'll have you sign the form.
Can I ask
I'm sorry?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case, so.
I understand that, but we're trying to figure out where did this come from, because I went to court for this, and
Right.
then now it's saying it's a warrant, so nobody knows. Even when I talked to the pretrial release last night, he didn't even know.
Well, it may very well have been an arrest as a misdemeanor and then filed as a felony, and then in order for that to happen, you have to be arrested on a felony. So let me look it up. Is that what happened, Ms. Kennedy Swanson?
Because we don't know anything.
Yeah. So it looks like it was a non-arrest case that likely came from,
1 second, Jenna.
or it was just filed as a non-arrest case.
Yeah, we received it in December 11th. Wait, no, I'm sorry. This is Mr. Sparks?
Mr.
I'm
Sermon?
sorry, Mr. Sarman. Okay. So yes, we received it December 11th. The victim is Miss Westmoreland Padra.
Okay.
Westmoreland.
So what happened is that the law enforcement took a report and didn't go and arrest you. They filed it with the state attorney's office. The state attorney's office reviews that documentation. They make a charging decision, and then they've decided to file formal charges, and then they go to a judge and get a warrant, and that's what you're arrested on.
So the actual date of the incident is November 22nd, 2019.
Did you hear that, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear.
Okay. So it's a while back, but you're still gonna have to deal with it. So I've appointed the public defender. I've ordered no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses. I'm gonna have you sign that form. That can be changed in writing by a judge at a later date, or if the case is dismissed, okay? Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence, no return back to where the offense occurred, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. It does appear that the Department of Children and Families was notified back then. I don't know if anything came from that or if there's still a Department of Children and Families investigation, but if there is, you'll have to comply with any investigation. If that doesn't exist, then that won't apply, okay? And I am gonna set your bond at $2,500. All right, so you'll want to call the public defender. They can explain a little bit more and get you all the information that you need, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name.
My name is David Sparks.
Mr. Sparks, you're here in 2020 CF 9146AO. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery, domestic violence. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And I don't see any witnesses present. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign that no contact order, Mr. Sparks. Do you understand everything on it?
Yes.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence to get personal belongings, you may do so with law enforcement one time. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm not sure if DCF was contacted. It appears there was a child present. So if there is an investigation, you'll have to comply with any DCF investigation. And he does not qualify for pretrial release.
Ma'am, you said I don't qualify for a pretrial release?
I'm trying to find out if you would.
Yes, he would, Your Honor.
He will?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna place you on pretrial release, Mr. Sparks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Make sure you comply with their requirements as well as my orders, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
All right, thank you again.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Kenny Mason.
Mr. Mason, you're here in 2020 CF 9139. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated child neglect. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim at this time. That can be changed at a later date in writing. Do you understand everything on that form? I don't know if you were take a look at it. I don't know if he saw it before court.
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. It was a case that we moved up, so I just want to make sure that he understands.
With who? With who? With who?
The child victim in the matter. You may not have any contact with the victim in the case.
Okay.
Okay. Do you understand everything on that form, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence from the victim. Do you live with the victim?
The victim live with me.
The child? Okay. Well, has DCF taken the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the child's not living in the residence?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you'll have to maintain a separate residence, okay?
ma'am.
You're not to, yes?
No, no.
Okay. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and you must comply with any DCF investigation. Your bond will be set at $2,500.
Okay, so I gotta pay $250.
You'll have to call a bondsman, but that sounds pretty accurate, but you'll have to call a bondsman, okay?
Okay.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Teresa Bridges.
All right, Miss Bridges, you're here in 2020 MM 5548AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. Any witnesses for Miss Bridges? Nope. Okay. So I am going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release.
Yes, Your Honor. I have a question.
Okay?
I live with my mother, and she doesn't. The victim is my sister. She doesn't live here. She lives in Deltona.
Okay.
So I'm the primary caregiver of our mom.
All I ordered was that you maintain separate residences.
Okay, but she
And
will
no
still try to
contact.
come to the house to see our mom. So
Okay, well, if she comes to visit, you can't be there. Okay? So you can't have contact.
well, she doesn't need to come to the house because that's where
Okay,
I
well,
live.
I can't
I
tell her
understand.
where she can go and where she can't go. So it would have to be your mother saying that she can't come to the house, but I can't tell her she can't come to the house, okay?
Okay.
All right? So
Thank
just
you.
don't have contact and maintain separate residences.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Javon Query.
All right, Mr. Creary, you're here in 2020 MM 361AA. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. Did you find probable cause? And I will appoint the public defender. Don't see any witnesses present. I'm going to have you sign the no contact order, ordering no contact directly or indirectly with any witness or victim.
Okay.
Do you understand everything on the form?
Yeah.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to that residence. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I don't know if Department of Children and Families is involved. There was a child present, so I'll order that you comply if there is a DCF investigation. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with the court's order as well as their conditions.
Okay.
Good luck, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Andrea Henriquez.
Miss Henriquez, you're here in 2020 MM 5550AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. We do have a witness present. Sir, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And you may need to speak a little bit closer or louder, whichever. Can you state your name and spell your last name for me, please?
Christopher Henriquez, Henriquez.
Okay, and Miss Kenny Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes. Are you the father of Sarah?
Yes.
And where is Sarah present today?
No, she is at her grandmother's.
Are you afraid, does Andrea live with you and Sarah?
Yes.
Are you afraid that if Andrea is allowed to return home, she will cause harm to Sarah?
No.
Can Sarah stay with her grandmother while this case is pending?
Yes.
No further questions. My only concern is obviously Sarah at 15 is old enough, right, to speak for herself, and she's not present. So state would still request that we maintain civil residences, no contact.
Can I make a comment?
Hold on.
Until the victim can be heard herself.
Okay. And then, Mr. Matos, do you have any questions?
No, just a few, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Just a few.
Okay.
So you're saying that you're not scared for your daughter having any problems with her mother? Is that her mother?
With her sister,
Her
no.
Her sister. I'm so sorry.
No, with her,
sister.
no problems.
And so would you want them to be in a separate residence from each other while the case is pending?
No, and Sarah does not want that either.
So my question is, then how would you be able to keep them separated and make sure that everything's okay at that point in time?
All right, well, can I explain what?
Yep.
I believe this thing got a little out of hand as far as with the police arresting her, because Sarah called the police because I suspended her phone, and the only number she could call was 911 instead of her grandmother. So she wanted to scare her sister. So this was what she did. And in this case, this shouldn't have ever came to this point. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving, and that was about the extent of it. Should have been no arrest at all in this case. And I don't know why the police didn't indicate that on the case, that Sarah did make that statement that she was just trying to scare her sister.
Your Honor, this is a civil spot right now. Two sisters fighting. It's not really something that I would.
I think it's a little bit more complicated.
I don't think so.
So, based on what I'm reviewing, it's that there's some mental health issues involved.
Well, Sarah has.
Hold on. Okay, so this is what's in the affidavit. So there's some mental health issues with the victim. Okay, and that she's told law enforcement that Andrea is always beating on her. So, I don't know what's going on in the home,
Sure.
but that's what she's advising law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're always present when they're together. So,
Well, her mom is home at all times. But I'm going to tell you that she also said to the police officer, I didn't really mean that I was just wanting to scare my sister. But they don't have that, I don't think, in there. And if you have the videos of the police officers interviewing her, you'll see that in there.
Okay. And Sarah's not taking the medication that is prescribed to her?
Yes. But now she says she will start taking the medication. Now, with this also is, she has high energy and she normally dives 5 days a week, a swimmer and a diver. Well, during this COVID, she hadn't been able to do all that. So she's got this built up anxiety, and I punished her yesterday, suspended her phone, and she was not very happy with me, and she took it out on her sister. And this is where it got to a point where she couldn't call anybody other than 911, and that's what she did.
Okay. So Sarah's not here, and
I can have her here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fine, but you'll have to come back at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
To have her here to testify to me.
Because she wanted to come here and say the truth of what happened.
Right.
And so she told me to explain that. So that's what I'm doing.
If
I can get a number during our break, I can reach out to Sarah instead of making the minor come down here. I'd say doesn't mind speaking to the victim to see what her true.
Well, that's fine, but it's not sworn testimony under oath.
Understand?
Right. So if you.
Andrea's never done anything ever.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand
and like I said,
this is the problem is that I don't have Sarah here to tell me that she wants to have contact with her sister. I know maybe she's telling you one thing or whatnot, but I need to know that she wants to have contact with her sister and that she's not in fear of her sister.
Yeah, but they wouldn't let us bring her.
Before I will allow contact.
Yeah,
okay?
but they wouldn't let us bring her. They said only one person can come in, and it can't be a minor.
Who told you that?
The lady that called us last night said only one person can
You know
come
who
in.
that was?
I cannot tell you who called us last night, but it was a phone call right after they arrested her and said, you have to come here at 8:30 and only one person's allowed in. I would have brought her because she was crying and wanting her sister back.
Do we know who made that phone call?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Well, we'll get that well, I'm gonna square that away at a later date, because that's not correct. She's the named victim, and she has a right to be heard, and she's 15, so she could be qualified to testify.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
in the meantime, my poor daughter who should be at work right now
I
is,
understand.
Do we
I
know
understand.
What's the earliest you can get Sarah here?
I can get her here in 15 minutes if you need her here.
Can we roll her to the end of the session and morning session and then have Sarah?
That's fine, and we'll call downstairs, and we'll make sure that they let her come in. And whoever if she's with you, or is she close by?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
fine.
she's at her grandmother's house, which is, 10 minutes from here.
Okay, why don't we do that and have Sarah come down if it's not too much of an inconvenience, but that will give me a little bit more information about what I'm going to do today. Okay.
Sure.
All right, so
Yes.
why don't we do that, and then you can come back and we will call downstairs and we will let them know, or can one of the security officers let them know that he can come back with his daughter or the grandma, whoever wants to come, they can come, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, her mother's downstairs. They wouldn't let both of us in. They said only one person.
Okay, this is,
I'll go downstairs.
this is becoming a problem. Yesterday, they wouldn't let a bunch of witnesses in for Mr. Snur.
Okay, so
For a
I'll go
hearing.
downstairs,
Okay.
and speak to deputies.
All right, thank you, sir. So we'll recall the case in a little bit, okay? Mr. Henriquez, we're gonna hear from your sister in a little bit, okay? Okay.
So, Judge, are we going to roll her to the end of this session, or?
Yeah, we're gonna run her to the end of this session, and if we have to, we'll come back in to hear some testimony. I'm not gonna make them wait until 1 o'clock.
And Your Honor, I'll let security downstairs know that he's coming down to bring the daughter back.
Okay. And then, all right, this, sorry for that. No, I haven't ordered anything yet. No, we're just here. Oh, okay. All right, please tell me your name.
Melinda Potts.
All right, Miss Potts, you're here in 2020 MM 5532AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in the case, and we do not have any witnesses present. I am ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign that no contact order. Do you understand everything on the form?
Yes.
You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Would she qualify for pretrial release?
Yeah, she just needs to be interviewed.
Okay. Oh, I see. Not usually it has it up there. Okay. Do you want me to do an alternative, or?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that you're gonna qualify for pretrial release where you wouldn't have to post a bond. They're just gonna have to ask you some questions, so make sure that you answer those questions if you want to be released to pretrial, or I'll do in the alternative a $500 bond, okay?
Okay.
And it's just phone in, it's not reporting in person.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Mario Richardson.
Mr. Richardson, you're here in 2020 MM 5513AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. If you find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. And ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Shala Richardson, Richardson.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. And Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes. Are you afraid of Mr. Richardson?
Not at all.
Would you like him to have contact with you while this case is pending?
Yes.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes.
Were drugs or alcohol related to this incident?
No.
No further questions.
Mr. Matos?
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. And so, Ms. Richardson, you're not in fear at all?
No, not at all. It was a misunderstanding. We've been together for 5 years, married for 3 years, and we've never had any issue at all ever.
Okay.
He didn't hit me or anything like that. I honestly, after I hit 911, it was, and the lady answered, it was too late to hang up. So,
Okay. I'm going to let you have non-hostile, non-violent contact. So, Mr. Richardson, that means no pushing, no shoving, no kicking, no biting, no scratching, no getting in her face, no saying mean things to her, no being disrespectful, no putting anything on social media or texting her anything nasty. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If things get heated, walk away. Okay?
Correct.
You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order and then also any requirements that they have of you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Silton, Salmon.
Tell me your name.
Silton.
Sherry K. Salmon.
All right, Ms. Salmon, you're here in 2020 MM 5516AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Sir, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's very difficult to hear you, so if you could just crouch down a little bit, or can you state your name and then spell your last name for me?
Silton, Salmon.
Mr. Salmon? Okay. And then Miss Kennedy Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes. How do you know Sherry Salmon?
To a mutual friend.
You guys are friends?
Yeah.
And are you afraid of her?
Oh, not really. Just the things what she might do.
Can you, in favor, get closer to the microphone?
Oh, not really.
You're not afraid of her?
No.
Were drugs or alcohol related to this incident?
No.
No? If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes, I'll call the police.
Would you like contact with her?
I don't think so because I don't know what she might do.
Okay, no
I
contact.
couldn't hear.
He said, I don't think so. I'm not sure what she might do.
Okay. All right. And you said, did you say that you were friends? Because I have in here that it's your wife of 4 years.
Yes.
So she's your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Not your friend?
No, my wife.
Okay, okay. All right. And Mr. Matos, any questions?
Mr. Salmon?
Yes,
it is? So you do not want contact with your wife. I just want to make that clear.
No, I don't want contact.
Then there's no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. I am ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. Ms. Salmon, I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're also to maintain a separate residence. So if you need to go back to the residence to get anything of yours, you must be with law enforcement. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot go there and call law enforcement and wait. You gotta call them ahead of time and wait for them to tell you where to go, and they will escort you to the residence. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And she does qualify for pretrial release. I'm gonna place her in pretrial release, sir. She'll have to report. And you said that there were no drugs or alcohol involved?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. All right. So she's to have no contact with you, okay? Directly or indirectly. So that means you can't communicate with the third person or write letters or send text messages or make any phone calls. Do you understand, Ms. Salmon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
right? Pretrial release, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, give me my hand.
Please tell me your name.
Sarah Strom.
Ms. Strom, you're here in 2020 MM 5552AO. You were arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And we have no witnesses present. So, Ms. Strom, I'm going to have you sign the no contact order form. There's no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. That can be changed at a later date in writing. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes.
To maintain a separate residence from the victim, if you need to return back with law enforcement, you can do so one time. To get personal belongings, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances. Without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to place you in pretrial release with random urinalysis. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as what they make pretrial requires of you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Good morning, Your Honor. Janelle Vargas.
Ms. Vargas, you're here in 2020 MM 5533AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery, and I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. There's no witness present. I am ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the form. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're to maintain a separate residence. I don't believe that you all live together, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
The residency is my house. I'm the only one on the
There's an
lease.
allegation that you're both on the lease.
Yeah, I'm the
correct?
only one on the lease. But he was staying with me, but he is staying with his father now.
Okay, I'm only ordering maintain separate residences. It's showing. I don't have. Do you have a third page? Do you have a victim page? I don't have one for that address.
Yes.
I don't know. There's an allegation that they are on the lease, but he's not living. I guess he's not living there.
His address is the same. They're the same address.
Okay.
I'm able to show the lease as well.
I don't need that today. I'm just trying to figure out if I need to give you a one-time return just in case. So I'm just going to put that in there just in case he's at the house and he's decided that he wants to stay there. That's a civil issue, okay? I'll put in there one-time return, but just maintain separate residences.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond is $500. I'm not going to take any action, on the out on release case, 2020 CF 7190AO. Does she have the PD in that case?
She doesn't.
Okay. Do you want me to appoint the public defender in that case for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll appoint the public defender in that case for you, but I will not take action. Don't get arrested again, because if you come back and you have 2 cases out on release with 2 batteries, okay, it's not going to be a good day for you, Miss Vargas. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
500.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Antonio Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're here in 2020 MM 5549AO. It's a battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. We do have a witness. Can you raise your right hand, ma'am? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And you can put your hand down. Can you tell me your name and spell your last
Scarlett
name?
Padron Rodriguez. RODRIGUEZ.
Okay. Padron is, you go
Padron.
by that as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And Miss Kenny Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes. Are you afraid of Mr. Williams?
No, I'm not.
Would you like for him to be allowed to have contact with you while this case is pending?
Yes, we have a 2-month-old daughter.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or
Yes.
911?
Yes, I will.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right.
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Padron, I'm going to order no contact today, based on what I'm reading in the affidavit, and the child being present. DCF is involved, and I don't know what they're going to do with anything with the case. But at this time, Mr. Williams, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. That can be changed in writing at a later date by a judge, so his attorneys will have to file a motion to modify the no contact order. So, Mr. Williams, do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am. But I have
Okay,
a
you're-
question about that too. Whenever you
Okay.
get
Yep. What's the question?
done. On one of it says about the residence. I don't have no family in Florida.
So you're going to have to maintain a separate residence. Okay?
Yeah, with like when the officer came out to the stuff to the scene, all my stuff was being put in the vehicles in my vehicle anyway. So I have for me to go to Philadelphia, it's a 19-hour drive. I don't have nobody here but her.
Ma'am.
So you were putting your stuff in the vehicle as law enforcement came?
Yeah, but they
So you were intending to leave the residence?
Yeah, I was telling the lead of residence, but when the cop went and told me that they said that it's both of our fault.
I don't want you to talk about the facts. We're
Well,
talking about the no contact order. Okay, so
Oh, that's the question. What it was about the residence? Because my name is not on her lease. That's what I'm saying. So by this being no contact order, is like the officer already know that most of my belongings is already there, and they told me whenever I get out, contact them, and I get the rest of my
okay,
belongings.
yeah,
I have to leave.
I'll put in there that you can go back with law enforcement to get your things.
Yes, man.
Okay, so you're to maintain a separate residence. You can go back with law enforcement to get your things. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. The Department of Children and Families has been contacted. They may be involved and have an investigation, so you'll need to comply with any investigation pending. The state attorney's office may also contact you as well because they're filing charges on Ms. Padron at large, meaning they did not arrest her. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court's order as well as their conditions, okay? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have another question.
Sure.
About my daughter, how does that work? Like for visitation, I have her now, so.
So he cannot have contact with the child until the contact order is changed in writing.
I can leave my residence because he doesn't have a place to go. I'll allow him to stay there.
Okay, so all I'm doing is ordering maintain separate residences. So if he wants to go back to the residence and stay there and you have another place to go,
that's fine.
Okay?
Okay.
But I'm not ordering him not to return. He can go with law enforcement, but if you're not at the residence, he can live there.
All right, thank you.
Okay? Did he hear that? I don't know if he heard that.
He did, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes, I
excellent.
did. Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Stevenson Yates, the third.
All right, Mr. Yates, you're here in 2020 MM 5555AO. You're arrested for a violation of a domestic injunction. I don't find probable cause for that offense. It should be the violation of the no contact order or as a contempt of court or a violation of the pretrial release condition on a domestic violence case, which I don't believe is a lesser included offense. So we have this problem a lot lately. There is probable cause for those things.
I have a question.
Hold on. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you,
I'm contemplating for a moment, Your Honor.
you're contemplating?
Yes.
Okay.
And so what's
And he's out on release, the same victim, I believe.
It is, Your Honor.
And I did that initial appearance just the other day.
trying to look at that other case. Right? Do we know if the victim testified at the?
She did.
She did.
Yes.
You know what contact was? She wanted contact or not?
She didn't. The order was no contact.
That was my question. Did she want contact?
No. I don't know if she's changed her mind since.
No.
I did ask
Your
for
Honor, the state
contact.
has 24 hours to ask the officer to do a supplemental report with the correct charge.
Okay. So, and can you ask them not to submit a second affidavit with a new case number?
Okay, so I can ask that. But
Yeah, I know. I'm
chances
just saying
are-
because the last couple times that we've had this issue happen, they give you a supplement with the correct charge, and then they're filing an additional charge with a new case number. You weren't here that day. It was Miss Bush, and it was a whole
My
thing, and
guess
then
is
she had to
they're
file a no info on that.
My guess is they're gonna do the same thing. Even though I'm gonna tell them not to, they're gonna come down and they're gonna file new charges with the correct case number.
Okay. Well, we'll take the testimony today from the witness. So can you please raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Can you state your name for me and spell your last name?
Shania Britton, Britteen.
Okay. And then Miss Kennedy Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes, Ms. Britton, are you afraid of Mr. Yates?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
Would you like contact with him while this case is pending?
Only if law enforcement is involved.
Okay, no further questions.
No
Mr.
questions, Your Honor.
Matos? Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to give the state the 24 hours to provide the supplemental information to provide for the probable cause. And there is probable cause for other offenses, which I think they're just intending to put the wrong statute in there. So, and Mr. Yates, I know you had a question. I don't want you to talk about the facts of anything, okay? Because that will probably get you into trouble later on down the road. But if you have a question about this proceeding, I can answer that.
In facts, you mean like
What
Something
happened
that
or
was-
what didn't happen? So I don't want you to talk about what happened or what didn't happen. Anything related to the case itself,
okay? So when would I be able to talk about it?
to your attorney.
And
Not on the record when you were being recorded and the prosecutor sitting right in the room with us.
okay, how can I get in contact with my attorney?
So there's a piece of paper that they're gonna give you.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So, I'm gonna reset this case for tomorrow. And so this case will be reset tomorrow. Ma'am, you don't need to come back tomorrow. We've received your testimony, but I am going to continue the no contact order. Okay, it's already in place. I'm not changing it, and he cannot have contact with you indirectly or directly, okay?
Do you know if the officers put my ID in his belongings because they never gave me my stuff back?
I have no idea. You don't see anything in here.
They took both of our IDs but never gave me my stuff back.
You'll have to contact the officer, and that's the Orlando Police Department. Okay, so you may want to call them and find out, but I don't know about your property or where it may be. But it's probably with them if they found it on him. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay? All right. And so we'll reset this one.
Judge, are you gonna keep him at no bond until tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he has a hold too. So. Do we have Mary Ann Celentano?
She bonded, Your Honor.
She bonded?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
So we'll take no action. And then Figueroa Rodriguez.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me your name?
Ramon Luis Figueroa Rodriguez.
All right, sir, you're here in 20 CT 4639, 20 CT 4640, and 20 CT 4641. You're arrested for driving under the influence and refusing to submit to a DUI test after a license suspension and driving while license suspended. I find probable cause and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You may not drive without a valid driver's license. You may not possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 will stay at $500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on count 3 is $500. And he doesn't have a hold for probation yet?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Please tell me your name.
Jonathan Salazar Hurtado.
All right, Mr. Salazar Hurtado, you're here in 2020 CT 4642. You were arrested for driving while license suspended as a subsequent offender. I do find probable cause, and you did you have an offer, Miss Kenny Swanson, for the case? Let me see if I can get his record here. Did you want to try to resolve your case today, Mr. Salazar?
For the driving with a suspended license, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I don't know if we can, but I'm gonna look and see if we can. I've got a driving while license suspended in Osceola on 5/27/2020. So that would be one.
Yep, he has one from 8/25. This will be the third.
And then I've got one in 2016. You had another one when?
I have a 2015 one.
Yeah. If he pled it out in 16? And that was Osceola as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So this was, I'm not going to resolve your case today because then if you pled it out today, you would lose your license for 5 years, Mr. Salazar. So you're going to have to communicate with the public defender's office about your case.
No objection to ROR, is that
Okay. So he's going to be ROR'd as well on his civil writs anyway. So Mr. Salazar, no driving without a valid driver's license. Make sure you don't miss any court dates, okay? I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. I'm going to order that you get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of your release and make sure that they know how to get in touch with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
And you've also got a couple of child support writs.
Yes.
And it's 2004 DR 4964 and 2009 DR 817. And so we're going to release you today on those cases. You're going to get an order for noticing to appear by telephone for those hearings.
Yes,
if you do not appear by telephone at the time that you are supposed to appear by telephone, The judge can issue a warrant for your arrest, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't aware that I had court before. That's why I will not miss it. I will never miss court.
Okay, so I just want to make sure you're going to get these notices. Don't miss court.
I won't, ma'am. Thank you.
Don't miss court for anything, okay?
No, ma'am. I won't.
Okay. Good luck.
I got a water.
Judge, we do have, in the Enriquez case.
Can we call Miss Henriquez back in? And I'll just take care of it. Is this Mr. Turner?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Turner, you're here in 2020 CT 4643. You were arrested for driving while license suspended as a subsequent offender, and I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. Well, hang on, before I appoint the PD, you also have 2020 MM 5514AO, and that's possession of drug paraphernalia, so I find probable cause for that as well. Did you want to try to resolve your cases today?
Yes, if I know what.
All right, let me see. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you have an offer or?
I didn't have the file, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to look at the driving history to see if that will be a good idea or not. What do you need?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Turner. I need to talk.
Sure.
We have a battery in my system.
I got it. I found it, Turner, sorry.
Okay. So I've got Palm Beach. Those are both on January 31st, 2019. They were put out, so this is not a good idea to do today. So, Mr. Turner, when you get a bunch of driving while license suspended, if you get 3 within 5 years, you'll lose your license for 5 years if you plea them out. So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to resolve the case today.
Yes, ma'am.
And then because the driving while license suspended is connected to the possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not gonna-
Can I say something?
well, I don't want you to talk about what happened or what didn't happen. Don't talk about the facts.
State has no objection to ROR.
Okay, yeah. Well, did you want to talk to me about something else?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Turner, I'm going to order that you're not to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Nor are you to drive without a valid driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on both of those cases
Okay.
because we can't resolve them today. You do have an out on release case. I'm not going to revoke that, but it looks like you have an upcoming court date
Yes, ma'am.
in a little less than a month. So make sure you keep in touch with the public defender. It looks like they represent you in that case and that you don't miss any court, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't get arrested again, because if you come back and you've got 3 cases that you're out on release on, it may not be a good day.
Okay.
If
Thank
you
you.
get what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And then we have the witnesses back for Ms. Henriquez. So we'll need her back in. All right, and Ms. Henriquez, we're recalling your case. It's (2020 MM 5550AO), and your dad went and got the victim in the case. And so, can you raise your hand to be sworn in? Your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna have to talk a little bit louder for me.
Yes.
Into the microphone, and you can put your hand down now. And then, Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you want to inquire?
Yes.
Okay. You may need to qualify her a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Miss Enriquez, do you know the difference between the truth and a lie?
Yes.
Okay, if I say I'm wearing a purple sweater, is that the truth or a lie?
A lie.
Okay, if I say the carpet in this room is black, is that a truth or a lie?
A lie.
Okay. And do you promise you're going to tell the truth today?
Yes.
Okay. Are you afraid of Andrea?
No.
If something happened in the future, or you guys got in an argument, or you were scared that she was going to hurt you, would you call the police?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if you got in a fight and you thought she was threatening you or going to hurt you, would you feel comfortable and call 911 or a police officer?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you scared of her?
No.
Do you think she's going to hurt you?
No.
No further questions.
Mr. Matos?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want her to come home and live with you?
Yes. Is it okay if I say something?
Sure.
Well, when I was little, one time I acted out, and my dad got someone over, like a family friend that was a cop, and they talked to me, and that made me more like eye opening. You could say, it made me understand oh, I shouldn't act like that. But then I thought that if I just contacted the police, then they'd just talk to her.
Okay. What was it that you were concerned about?
Just that she can't be so aggressive sometimes. Because we yell at each other, I just want her not to yell.
Okay. When you say aggressive, do you mean physical?
No.
Okay. So just yelling at you?
Yes.
Okay. But she has not gotten physical with you?
No.
And you're not in fear of her?
No.
You just want her not to be mean to you is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for coming and testifying. I'm sorry about the confusion, and I'm going to clear that up with whoever called, okay? So, Ms. Enriquez, I'm going to allow you to have contact with your sister. It's going to be non-hostile and non-violent contact. So that means, you can't be physical, so no pushing, no shoving, no biting, scratching, getting in her face, saying mean things to her, raising your voice, being disrespectful. If you get upset with your little sister, which I'm sure sisters get upset with each other, okay, then best thing to do is walk away, take a break, go for a drive, go do whatever you need to do, but don't take your anger out on her, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If for some reason you violate that, it can land you back in jail.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Yes.
All right. Just so you know, I'm going to order you're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to also release you on your own recognizance. So you're probably going to get a court date when you get released, and so you'll need to make sure you don't miss that court date. It may not be in person. It may be in person. I'm not sure. Keep in touch with the public defender's office so they know how to get in touch with you. I'm sure the state attorney's office will be contacting all of you, and you can tell them about what you want to happen with the case, okay? All right? Everybody needed anything else? She'll be released on her own recognizance, so she won't have to post a bond. They'll just process her, and then you can come and get her. Okay, I don't know how long that will take. Okay?
On average,
Huh?
I would say 4 to 6 hours.
I don't know.
No, I'm saying it'll take 4 to 6
So you
hours.
can always call, I don't know if it's 836-3400. That's pretrial release, and I know she's not being processed through them, but they may be able to tell you when she's ready to get picked up if she needs a ride, okay? All right, thank you, Sarah.
I did overtime 2 years. I had 4 years. I did overtime 2 years. I never double up pay.
They kept beeping. Oh. Maybe they were doing something to it. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. It is January 31st, 2020. This is BRC Courtroom 1 to BRC Courtroom 2. This is Judge Wish, and it's session 2. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Kathy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Pedro Matos with the Public Defenders.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name.
John Edward Jacoby, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Mr. Jacoby?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, you're here in 2020 MM 5525AO, and you were arrested for trespass on property after warning, providing false ID to law enforcement, and then nuisances injurious to health. I do find probable cause. And Ms. Kenny Swanson, did you have an offer to resolve the case today?
Adjudication credit for time served.
All right, so Mr.
No
Jacoby.
return.
Sorry?
No return.
Mr. Jacoby,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
would be did you hear that?
What was it?
So it's a credit for time served offer, and you cannot return back to where you were trespassed from.
Yes, ma'am, I'll take that.
Okay,
Thank
it's
you.
it's
I
the
appreciate
5265 South John Young Parkway. You can't go back there, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I'm not gonna take any, do we know what's going on with his other case? Is that a resolvable case?
We have 2 days in, and information is filed.
It was filed? I don't know. Miss Kennedy Swanson, do you want to take a look at that one, or?
Give me 1 moment, John.
Okay, no problem. We might be able to resolve both your other case too, but I don't know.
What is the other case?
It's a petty theft.
I have 2020 MM 2999.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in April.
That was our candy bar, yeah.
I can't do the right case number. I'll take it on.
So we'll see if we can do everything together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, hold on just a sec. He has 2 days in that case?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have that as a right case. I don't see, when I put that case number in, I have a different defendant come up.
2020. I think he's an AKA.
I don't think that's me. I don't
Willie Lee Ellis.
Okay, yeah, I have Willie Lee Ellis, so is that a,
It has the AKA on the form here.
okay, I don't see that, so I don't know.
I can look at his face sheet. I don't see an AKA. Okay.
Trying to see if the items were recovered.
Right, but I don't know if that's him.
That's what I'm saying. So in my notes, in my synopsis, it says person has multiple social security numbers, multiple LSs. I can't see if they have priors.
No, ma'am.
So they would have to run his finger. We would have to do fingerprints to.
So I'm looking at the face sheet from when he was arrested, or when Willie Ellis was arrested back in April, and it's showing it's showing multiple aliases, but Edward Jacoby and John Edward Jacoby are amongst the names on that. So, Mr. Jacoby, are you disputing that you were arrested for a petty theft?
I may have been, I might have been drunk, but I don't remember it. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you.
Have you ever used the name Willie Ellis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Okay. So my
Oh,
guess
okay, I
is
remember.
that this is.
I took a candy bar, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want you
sorry.
to admit to anything. I think that it is him though. But so.
That is me, yeah.
It is you. Okay. Is it a candy bar?
Yes, ma'am.
There's 2 beers and 2 candy bars. So, did you make an offer?
I didn't, I just pulled Discovery to see, to make sure it's $10.89. I just want to see if they received it back or not.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they would be able to resell it, but.
It doesn't show that the items were recovered.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's $9 and without tax, it's $9.75. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return to the Wawa.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to do that and resolve both cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did you read the plea form before you came into court, Mr. Jacoby?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the pleas?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis in 2020 MM 5525 to accept your plea to all the counts. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to, is it 1 day or 2 days, credit for time served.
Okay.
And you cannot go back to 5265 South John Young Parkway, abide by the trespass warning, and then I'll impose court costs in that case for you.
Okay.
And then 2020 MM 299980, I've reviewed the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea to petty theft. I do have to advise you, Mr. Jacoby, that theft is an enhanceable offense. So if you commit multiple offenses, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So if you have 2 priors, then it can be a felony. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And so I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days, time served. Again, you may not return back to the Wawa 3501 Millennia Boulevard.
Okay. I won't.
Abide by any trespass. If you've been trespassed from there, there's restitution in the amount of $9.75 to
Okay.
Wawa.
I'll pay it.
Okay, and court costs, and I'll impose all the
Right.
court costs and fees to be paid by July 31st, 2021.
Okay.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed
So
for you,
my
sir.
2 charges, all they run concurrent, right?
Everything's, yeah, well, it's credit for time served, so you'll be out today.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, tell me your name.
Larry Jones.
Mr. Jones, you're here in 2020 MM 5519AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're on probation, so I'm not going to resolve any case today, okay? It will violate you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not to return back to 3956 West Colonial Drive. That's the Quality Inn. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass. And I'm going to stay the bond at the $500. You do have a 5-day hold, I believe, because of your probation. And then he doesn't have reporting requirements, or he
Yes,
does?
Shawnee, he has
He
reporting.
does? Okay. And also you do have reporting requirements, so make sure that if you comply with those as well, okay? But you still have the 5-day hold even if you bond out today, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Do you have a restitution order, Ms. Kennedy Swanson, for the, I guess it's Ellis?
One moment, John.
Okay, I just want to make sure we have that.
Your Honor, Robinson, mental health.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Robinson for tomorrow. It's a pleable offense, so see if we can, Ms. Kennedy Swan, did you have an offer for that? Maybe we can just put it in the notes for Judge Shoemaker.
Adjudication time served, no return.
So can you put in there possible, reset for possible plea, adjudication to go, credit return, sir, no return. All right,
We have Sealy, detox.
okay. Do you know if there's gonna be an offer for Mr. Sealy?
There is not, Your Honor.
Okay. So in 2020 MM 5541AO, I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, did you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's an enhanceable offense, so I'm going to proceed forward because there's not going to be an offer. There's probable cause for the offense of petty theft, and he's not to return to the Home Depot at 4403 Millennia Plaza Way. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $250.
We have Thomas Bonded.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
How you doing, Your Honor? My name is Jack Rodriguez Melendez.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 CF 912780. You're arrested for possession of fentanyl. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $1,000. In 2020 CF 917280, you're arrested for driving while license suspended as a subsequent offender. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. You cannot drive without a valid driver's license. And the bond will stay at $500. You're out on release in 2020 CF 8468 and 2020 CT 43710. Is it?
It says 437.
4371, okay. And so I am going to revoke the releases in those cases and set the bond at none. I think you have the public defender in both of those cases. So they're going to have to file some bond motions for you in those cases.
So I don't have no bond.
Well, you have bonds in the new cases, but not bonds in the old cases.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. Good morning.
You have this filled out. Okay, so restitution. What was that restitution amount? Because it's not filled out in here.
Oh, I have it right. $9.75.
Do you have an address for Wawa? I know it's on the affidavit. I'll put it in there.
Hold on.
3501.
Full discovery. $3501 Millennia Boulevard, Orlando, Florida 32839.
Three, four, two.
32839. Sorry, 32839.
Okay, thank you. And do you want to sign this?
All these technical things.
I know, all these things that we have to do. I almost signed it where you're supposed to sign it. And my pen died. Thanks.
This is the one with the hospital fee. So this is the adjudication again, you're not.
Well, I'll just say reset. right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, sir.
My name is Cardell Cannon, ma'am. Cardell Cannon, Cannon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cannon. You're here in 2020 CF 8470AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated assault with a firearm. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You're not to have any contact with the victim in the case.
Excuse me,
No.
ma'am.
Yes.
Permission to speak, ma'am?
Well, I'm going to have to advise you before that you say anything, that
Yes.
everything that you say can be used against you. You're being recorded, and the prosecutor's here with me.
Yes, ma'am.
So anything that you say can and likely will be used against you. So whatever you say, you are saying at your own peril.
Yes, ma'am. Permission to
Okay.
speak, ma'am?
Sure.
Okay, ma'am, I am aware of the charge that is brought up against me. However, I did not receive what is known as an affidavit or a police report. And second of all, I know this is not, I shouldn't say this right now, but this is my girlfriend who filed the charges. And I believe this was done out of maliciousness. I don't associate myself with guns. I'm a patent owner. I have a current patent pending with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. I have worked diligently since 2015 to restore my record and to live a normal life and to live a productive life. And I just don't know where this gun came from or what.
Okay, I'm not saying you're guilty of anything, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just telling you what you were arrested for.
Yes, ma'am.
And probable cause was found pursuant to the warrant. So if you have defenses, and you very well may,
Yes,
then you
ma'am.
need to talk. You'll need to talk to your attorneys about that. Okay.
Okay.
So probably best to talk to only your attorney about it.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to order that you're not to return back to 200 Wilmer Avenue or 113 Wilmer Avenue. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I know you said you don't have any firearms, but
Yes, ma'am.
if you do, you'll have to surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And your bond will be set at $2,500.
Okay. So is that the
right.
10% or is that the full amount, ma'am?
It's $2,500, so you can call a bondsman and see what they would make you pay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for your generosity.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Elvin Dwayne Carter, ELVINCARTER, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Carter,
Ma'am.
you're here in 2020 CF 9159AO. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling and grand theft third degree. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You're not to have any contact with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant. You're not to return back to 4733 O'Keefe Court.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is set at $10,000 and $150 on count 2. You're also out on release in 2 cases, 2020 CF 5347AO, 2020 CF 1202AO. I am going to revoke the release and set the bonds at none. Does he have the PD in both? Okay. So you have the public defender in both of those cases and on this case as well. So you'll need to contact them to have you file a bond motion. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, Hattie Perry refused court.
Okay, I'm gonna find his refusal to be a waiver and appoint the public defender. 2020 CF 9102. It's a warrant for burglary of a conveyance and petty theft, and probable cause was found. And so he is not to return back to where the offenses are alleged to have occurred. There's multiple locations in the affidavit where these offenses are alleged to have occurred. So any named location in the affidavit, he is not to return to. No contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant. And the bonds will stay at 1,000 and 100. He does have an immigration detainer as well. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Jane Arkell Lamar Harris. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. You're here in 2020 CF 91370. You were arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause for the offense, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return back to where any offense is alleged to have occurred, and no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. The bond will stay at $1,000. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Devontae Hunter.
Mr. Hunter, looks like the bondsman endorsed your bond, and so you'll need to be I-8 on 2020 CF 8901AO. It's a battery on a person 65 years of age or older. There's probable cause. Do you want me to appoint the public defender for you?
Yes, but those charges was dropped.
I don't believe so.
My grandma went down there Monday and dropped the charges with the state attorney.
Okay, well, your grandmother, doesn't get to make that decision. She can ask the state attorney's office to not prosecute that case, but I don't see that, and they have filed any, what is called a no information notice. I looked up the case and did not see that. So, don't see anything in there. So I am gonna order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I'll just reset the $2,500 bond on there as well.
So am I able to bond out now?
Does he have a hold? Or is he, because there is a violation of probation that was filed? But they've already filed the violation of probation on this arrest, so what would the 5-day hold be for?
He was getting held on the no bond.
Huh?
So he has no bond on the VOP, so no detainer.
There's a VOP you're on a tap. You know, add on.
That's what I'm saying, is that why would he have a 5-day hold if there was already a VOP on it? And that's probably why the bondsman came off the bond. I don't know, I'm speculating, but.
There shouldn't be a hold. It should just be the.
Yeah.
The bond on the line.
Let me just make sure, because was it in, yeah, so there is a violation of probation. My guess is it's this, I'm looking at it, it's the battery. So I don't think there should be the hold. So yeah, you can bond out on this. He doesn't have a bond on the VOP though, correct? No, Judge Whitehead did not change that? Okay. So Mr. Hunter, you're still being held on the violation of probation, okay? And you saw Judge Whitehead, I think, for that the other day, right?
Yes. I still haven't seen him.
Huh?
I still haven't seen Judge Whitehead.
Okay, I think you see him, or will you have a hearing? Well, it says that you saw him on the 30th.
No.
So that was yesterday.
I ain't see nobody.
You didn't see him yesterday?
And I'm kind of confused. I need to take a step back, right? Okay, when I got booked, I had the battery on an elderly. When they went when my grandma went to the state attorney's office, it went away. And the only thing I had was a VOP. So now I got the battery on the elderly again.
But it didn't go away yet. So, see, I'm trying to explain that to you. Your grandma might have gone to the state attorney's office and she may have asked them to not file charges, but they have not made a decision on that. So you still have that case pending. Even if the state does not file charges on that, okay, the state and the court can still proceed forward on a violation of probation. So that case doesn't need to go forward in order for them to prove the violation of probation. So you might want to talk to your attorney about it. I can't really give you legal advice about what to do, but that can still proceed forward without the case being prosecuted, okay? So it looks like they filed a written plea of not guilty on the violation of probation, which is why you did not see Judge Whitehead. So you have a hearing date coming up in front of Judge Roche, and that's on October 9th, 2020. Now, I'm not saying that that will be the date that, you might be able to work something out. So before that day. So I think that you need to contact the public defender. I've appointed them to represent you in this case. They already represent you in the violation of probation, okay?
All right.
So you need to contact them and you need to see if they will file a bond motion for you. I don't believe that you would be entitled to a bond because of the violent felony offender of special concern. But they can still file whatever motions that they think are appropriate in the case, okay? They'll be able to explain it a little bit more. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Christina Lemaire.
Miss Lemaire, you're here in 2020 CF 9158AO. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling and grand theft third degree. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant. You're not to return back to the victim's address at 4733 O'Keefe Court. I'm going to stay the bond at $3,500 and $150 and add pretrial release to that as well. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
The White Man Jr.
All right. Mr. Mann, you're here in 2020 CF 9165AO. It's possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender. Are you living at 1324 Fremont Park Avenue?
No.
No? Okay. Why don't you tell us your address?
I really don't have one. I was living with my sister, but I have to move.
Where do you get your mail?
I get it at the 1324.
Do you get your mail there?
Yeah.
Okay. 100% sure?
Yeah.
100% sure? Okay, all right. And do you have a phone number?
Yes.
Mr. Matos, you might want to write this one down. Tell me your phone number.
239-324-3550.
Okay. You get that?
239-324.
2550? 3550.
3550.
All right. So, Mr. Mann, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. Make sure that you keep in touch with the public defender. I'm going to order that you call them within 24 hours of your release, okay? Don't miss any court dates. If you do, you probably get a warrant.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Good morning, Jesse Morris.
All right, Mr. Morris, you're here in 2020 CF 8999AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for robbery with a firearm while wearing a mask, and probable cause was previously found. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I believe this is a life felony.
One moment, Your Honor.
Say that one more
I
time.
think, I think the robbery with a firearm is obviously a PBL, and then I think the mask enhances it to the life felony. So I don't know if the state wishes to be heard as to bond. Either way, it's a punishable by life felony.
Your Honor, state would just ask the court to look at the four corners of the affidavit to issue arrest warrant and to continue to hold the defendant at no bond. Whether or not the defendant gets a bond or is released, we would still request that he have no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms, and even if he remains in custody, to not use the jail phones to reach out to the victim or witnesses.
All right, and Mr. Matos?
Your Honor, looking at the affidavit, there's 3 witnesses. Mr. David, who could not pick him out of the lineup, his brother, who says he's about 60% sure that this was Mr. Morris, and then the officer, whose words are, Mr. Morris appears to be the person in the security footage at Kwick Mart. None of these statements rise to the point to say that the guilt is evident and the presumption is great. I would ask for the court to set bond at this time, and to let me ask Mr. Moore some questions to allow for a proper bond determination.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to swear him in?
Please.
Okay. Raise your right hand, Mr. Morris, to be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Morris, where do you live?
4053 Rose Petal Lane, Orlando, Florida.
And how long have you lived in this location?
I would say off and on because I have had my own apartment. That's my mom's residence. So whenever I'm not in my own apartment, living there with my mom. I recently moved out of my own apartment April 1st, which was 526 Spanish Trace Drive in Altamont Springs, Florida. But that address wasn't on my license. I've had my mom's address on my license for about 4 to 5 years now.
And do you have any other family in Florida?
Outside of my mom and my little brother, not that I know of.
Do you have any family outside of Florida?
Yeah, I have a military family.
And is that your other brother that was mentioned in the affidavit?
Yeah, that's who sold me my car.
So apart from your brother who's in the military and your parents, you just have Florida as a home.
Yeah.
Orlando, to be specific.
Yeah. My sister in Georgia. I have 2 brothers in Georgia. I have a sister and a brother in Georgia, and then my other brother in California. He's in the military.
Mr. Morris, do you work?
Currently, no. I lost my job about 3 weeks ago. I was working at a recycling warehouse called A1 Assets in Lake Mary, Florida. I'm sorry.
And so I'm guessing you're being supported by your mother right now.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Is your mother supporting you right now then?
No.
Do you have any money saved up?
No.
So Mr. Morris, it's safe to say that you don't have any money saved up to be able to bond out.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she could bond me out if I get a bond posted today.
And where does your girlfriend work?
She works at a daycare. She's been working at the same daycare for about 4 years now.
And can you give me an estimate of how much money she makes?
I can't too much. I've never been the type to be in her pockets or anything.
But
she
would you say
makes probably like I would say like $700 a week, I think.
So if you were if the court would be able to give you a bond, how much you think that she might be able to pay?
She could pay my entire bond if she wanted to today. She has money saved up.
But what would you call money, Mister? I would like a ballpark number at least.
I don't know. I've never in my.
Would she be able to pay $1,000?
Well, she probably has 1,000 saved up. Yeah, I believe so.
Your Honor, based on the circumstances, he has family outside of Florida. Doesn't really have any, but doesn't seem to like he's been living in Florida his whole life by the sounds of it. He lives with his mom. The only person that might be able to bond him out is his girlfriend, and she has about $1,000 saved up. We would ask the court to set the bond at $10,000 so the client could be able to bond out.
May state inquire of the defendant.
Yes, you may.
Mr. Morris, are your ears pierced?
Can you say that one more time?
Are your ears pierced?
No, yes, ma'am, they are, but I'm not currently wearing earrings.
It's not my question. My question is, in your left ear, is your left ear pierced?
Yes,
Is your right ear pierced?
yes,
Did you buy your vehicle, a Hyundai Elantra, from your brother Darius Alexander?
yes,
Did you register that car that you bought from him in June in your name?
I set an appointment to the DMV to register it, but it's not currently registered. It has insurance in my name, though.
Okay, so the car is currently still registered to your brother, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when is the last time you saw your brother?
Before he left to California, about...
Okay. And when he left to California, did you have the color in your hair? Or sorry, before he left for California, did your hair look the same way it does today?
Yes.
It did? Okay. And how much time would you say you and your brother spent together over the last 10 years?
I mean, we grew up together. We stopped spending time together when he went to the military because I wasn't seeing too much of him. But when he comes home, we hang out. We'll go out and probably have a drink or go see a movie or something like that. We'll spend time together whenever he's home.
Do you think you could identify your brother with a baseball cap on?
Can I identify my brother with a baseball cap? Yes, I can.
Okay. And how about with sunglasses on? Could you identify your brother?
Yeah, I know my brother's face.
Okay. So that's because of the relationship that you had with your brother, that even when he has something covering a piece of his face or head, you can still identify him?
Yes, I can.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Your Honor, I believe defense's argument was that Mr. Alexander, who saw the video, said that it may be his brother. I also think the court should take into consideration that they have a familiar relationship and, like many siblings, would not want to get his brother in trouble. However, he believes that even with the mask on, that was his brother.
Well, he also identified him from the video that was shown to him and identified him and acknowledged that his ears were pierced and that he had dreads. There was also security footage from the Quick Stop that showed the defendant wearing the same clothing as described. So we've got the ripped jeans in the security video from the Quick Mart. We've got the earrings. We've got clothing similar. We've got the headband and the dread-like hair. We've got the Hyundai Elantra. We've got that Hyundai Elantra continuously following the victim's van. And then he's identified in the Quick Mart because he was not wearing a mask, but he was, but the person who was wearing the mask during the robbery. So I find that there's proof evident presumption great. I am going to hold him at no bond at this time. You're not to return back to any of the locations as alleged in the affidavit. No contact with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant. That includes from the Orange County Jail. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. Was there anything else?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Mr. Morris, you'll need to get in touch with the public defender's office for them to file a bond motion for you.
Your Honor, is there something I could ask you real quick?
Well, I would be very careful what you say, Mr. Morris.
I was
Your attorneys questioned you, and then the state questioned you, and because of the attorney's questions, the state was able to elicit some information. So I don't know what else you may want to say that would hurt or help you, but it's up to you. You have to know that everything that you say can be used against you.
No, I was just asking, like, even if this was like my first charge since a adult, like a first felony.
Well, you'll have to get a bond hearing downtown, and they may decide to give you a bond, but I'm not going to give you one today. But that doesn't mean that that's the end of that, okay? So your attorneys will have to file a bond motion, and
Okay.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. You're on the next on the list, Nelson Medical.
all right. So is that medical?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So we've got 2020 CF 9120AO Nelson or Kadisha Nelson. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So it's a kidnapping. It's a punishable by life felony. And I do find probable cause. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, we believe the defendant should continue to be held at no bond based on proof evident presumption grade. Looking at the affidavit by Officer Adam Hoover, it looks like one of the defendants attempted to keep the victim in the car by holding her belt buckle, which would eventually broke, and she was able to escape, run into a store, like a quick stop. While somebody else tried to stop one of the defendants from entering the store, I guess, the victim was chased across a parking lot. The victim was then assaulted by the co-defendant of this defendant. It looks like was punched or slapped in the face. The victim made statements that they tricked her out while she had been staying with them. Based on that, Your Honor, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond, no contact with the victim, no contact with the co-defendant. Maintain separate residences, no weapons, no firearms.
Mr. Matos?
At this point, we just reserve for an author here in downtown, Your Honor, and leave it at the court's discretion.
All right, I do find proof evident presumption great. She is not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim, any witnesses, or the co-defendant in the case, Leonard Redwood. No weapons or firearms or ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, maintain separate residences, and no contact with any minor child under the age of 18. If she has a passport, she must surrender that to law enforcement, or to the clerk's office. If she is to receive a bond at any point in time, if she doesn't have one, she'll have to file an affidavit under oath. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Calandra Awargi.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 CF 9160AO. You were arrested for child abuse. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim or witness in the case, any witness. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And the bond will stay at 1,000. I am revoking the release on the pretrial release, but I am going to set a bond on each count. It looks like the state filed an information on a battery on a law enforcement officer and 1 count of resisting an officer without violence. So I'll set 2 bonds. Count 1 will be 5,000. Count 2 will be 500. And are there any, do we know if there's any conditions on that case?
No, it was none. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
No, I don't see any conditions, right?
So it looks like the initial appearance on the original case was no conditions. So I'm going to add some conditions on the bond on 2019 CF 16549. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no contact with any victim in that case. And no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. So you do have bonds, ma'am, in both your cases, okay?
Okay. Can I have one question? Because I've been in contact with my public defender for
Okay.
the case, and I was supposed to be doing a plea deal where they were gonna give me 1 year probation with justification withheld, community service, and I would have to do an anger management class. But the court date kept getting pushed back because of COVID, and I think the next one is scheduled for September 3rd.
The offer is still available. That's the correct offer, Your Honor.
Yeah, so you have a pretrial conference date for September 2nd. You may not have to appear for that, and then September 14th is the trial period. And that is for the 2019 case. So you're saying,
Ma'am?
I don't know I don't know the specific question you're
Well, 'cause,
trying to
I
get
mean-
the answer to.
Because since I was on the pretrial, and now, are you saying I don't have to do pretrial anymore? I just not have to
Well,
do a
now
bond?
I've revoked the pretrial release, and I could hold you at no bond, but I'm giving you bonds.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna have to get with the public defender and find out about what's going on with that case. But the next court date is September 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you'll have to be there virtually or in person. I don't think we all know where we're gonna be in September with COVID. So,
Okay.
all right, so you're gonna have to get with them. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
On this surrender card, do you want to surrender cash or you want to surrender it?
I mean, within 24 hours of the clerk, but. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Leonard Redwood.
All right, Mr. Redwood, you're here in 2020 CF 9119AO. You're arrested for kidnapping. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. And this is a punishable by life felony. Ms. Kenny Swanson, we saw the co-defendant. Do you wish to be heard as to bond on Mr. Nels or Mr. Redwood?
State would make the same argument, pretty much the same affidavit from the co-defendant. No contact with the victim, no contact with the co-defendant, no weapons, no firearms, no return. Again, Your Honor, this victim was held by trying to leave a vehicle and then had to run into a quick stop by this and the co-defendant.
Mr. Matos?
Your Honor, again, we're reserving for an Arthur here in downtown and leaving this at the court discretion right now.
All right, Mr. Redwood, I reviewed the affidavit. I do find proof evident presumption great for kidnapping. I am going to hold you at no bond at this time on the charge. You'll have to contact your attorneys to file a bond motion for you. Your conditions of any release, which you're not going to be released on this case today until someone gives you a bond, but even from the jail, you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim, any witness, or your co-defendant, Miss Nelson. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're to maintain separate residences. You're not to have any contact with any minor child under the age of 18. And do you own a passport?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if you do not own a passport, then you'll have to file an affidavit under oath with the clerk's office indicating that you do not own a passport. If you do, you'll have to surrender that within 24 hours of any release. Any of those conditions can change after a bond hearing downtown, okay? So get in touch with the public defender.
So, can I talk, ma'am?
I have to advise you that anything that you say can and probably will be used against you, so be careful what you say.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
being recorded.
Yes, ma'am. I'd just like to know, so how do I go about I guess we said it's a motion for bond?
Yeah, they're gonna give you a piece of paper. It has the public defender's phone number on it. You'll wanna call them and tell them that you need them to file a bond motion for you and to connect you with whoever's representing you.
All right. That's all? All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right? Thank you.
You're on the next on the list, Rivera Jimmy, medical.
Medical?
Yes.
All right, he has a bond of $2,500 in 2019 CF 915980. It's a violation of pretrial release, but he does have a bond. Please tell me your name, sir.
My name is Luis Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you're here in 2020 CF 9072AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for sexual battery on a child under 12, sexual battery on a child under 12, and lewd or lascivious molestation on a victim under the age of 12. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Count 1 and 2 are both capital offenses. Count 3 is a life felony. And does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Your Honor, we believe, looking at the affidavit to issue warrant, that the defendant should continue to be held at no bond based on proof evident presumption great, no contact with the victim, no contact with any person under the age of 18.
Mr. Matos?
Your Honor, we'll be reserving this for an author here in downtown and leaving it at the court's discretion at this time.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, I do find proof evident presumption great based on the very detailed 9-page affidavit. There is a lot of corroboration amongst the victims in this case, amongst other witnesses in the case. And so I believe it does meet that burden. And there's some admissions to individuals in the family, as well as to law enforcement. So I am going to hold you at no bond on each count. And so you're not to have from the jail either any contact with any victim or any witness in the case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You're not to return to any of the victim's residences wherever they may live. You're not to have any contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Do you own a passport, Mr. Rodriguez?
No, I don't.
Okay. So if you do own one, you'll have to surrender any passport upon any release if you're given a bond within 24 hours to the clerk's office. If you don't, you'll have to file an affidavit under oath that you do not own a passport. But you'll have to contact the public defender's office and they'll be able to file a bond motion for you, and that can be heard downtown in the division in which it is assigned. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Charles St. Fleur.
Mr. St. Fleur, you're here in 2020 MM 4436AO, and that's a failure to appear for arraignment on July 16th, 2020. The judge did revoke your release and gave you a $2,000 bond. And does he have the PD in that case?
We have a private attorney, Amy Adams.
Okay. And 2020 MM 3693AO, it's a violation of condition of pretrial release. And the bond was revoked and set, or your release was revoked, excuse me, and the bond is set at none in that case. Does he have an attorney in that case? Okay, we'll see. We'll make sure that you have representation.
He has the public defender.
Okay, so the public defender represents you in the case in which you have no bond in, and then I think you have another different attorney in the other case. So you do have a bond in one case, you do not have a bond in the other, so the PD's office will have to file a motion to set bond for you, Mr. St. Clair, okay? Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Colin Scholl.
Mr. Scholl, you're here in 2020 CF 9121AO. It's a burglary of an occupied dwelling and loitering or prowling. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return back to 720 Densmore Drive. Or have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. Also, you're not to have contact with anyone, or you're not to return to 17 or 719 Densmore Drive. So I'd stay away from Densmore Drive. So, and again, no contact with any victims or witnesses. The bond will stay at $5,000, and count two, I'll reduce to 100. I'm not taking any action on the notice to appear case that you have. I don't know what's going on with that case. Do we know if he has any upcoming court dates? I only have one. It's like a really, it's back in May. It's a CO case.
442? I don't even show it in our system yet.
I mean, it was set for arraignment back in June. It's an animal cite. It's a county ordinance animal citation case, which I don't even. It's not even a criminal case. So, I don't know what's going on with the case that you got the notice to appear back in May. It's a county ordinance. So just make sure you look at the clerk system, okay? So you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
You're on the next on the list, Vasquez Hernandez, mental health.
Okay. I'm gonna appoint the public defender for Mr. Vasquez Hernandez. And Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's got a couple cases here. We've got 2020 CF 6650. It's a warrant But it looks like the state filed an information in that case. The warrant charged him with burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, dealing in stolen property, trafficking, and grand theft of a dwelling of $100 or more. And the state filed as a burg dwelling, dealing in stolen property, false verification of ownership to a secondhand dealer, and petty theft. He's not to return back to 3 East Story Road or have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. And I'm just gonna stay the bonds on count 1, 2, and 3 on the warrant at $2,500, $1,500, and $500. And then I've got 2020 CF 7380AO, and that looks like the state filed an information on burglary of a dwelling. Probable cause was found. And so he is not to return back to 1011 Arthur Avenue or have any contact with any victims or witnesses in that case. And that bond will stay at $15,000. So he's out on release. The burg dwelling on its own in 7380, it's alleged to have occurred back in 2017. So I cannot revoke his release based on that case, but I am revoking it based on the 2020 CF 6650, which is alleged to have occurred April 27th, 2020. And the offense that he's out on release on occurred
February.
in September 2019.
Okay.
So I am revoking that release and setting the bond in 2019 CF 12558AO at none. And does he have the public defender in that case? He does. Okay. So the PD will have to file a motion to set bond for him in that matter. And can we just make it very clear on the court minutes that I'm only revoking the release based on the arrest or offenses in 2020 CF 6650, not the other case.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Rafael Villaverde.
All right, Mr. Villaverde, you're here in 2020 CF 9163AO. You're arrested for carrying concealed firearm. If you find probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender. And 20 CT 4658, so no valid driver's license. I do find probable cause and I'll appoint the public defender. So you can't drive without a valid driver's license and you can't possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release's conditions, okay?
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Albert A. Williams, Jr.
All right, Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
you're here in 2020 CF 9144AO. You're arrested for possession of MDMA. If you find probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Was he arrested for all of these out on release cases at the same time? The dates are different on the arrest affidavits and on this was a 5:30 arrest. It says 6:15 on the out on release form. I'm just trying to figure out when these all happened. 7386. All right, Mr. Williams, you've had quite a bit of chances here, and every time you come back, the judge does not take action on your case. So I am taking action today. 2020 CF 2546AO, 2020 CF 6749AO, 2020 CF 7386AO. I'm going to revoke the release and set those at none. The bonds at none. I'm going to
No, ma'am,
appoint the public
please.
defender if you don't already have them in your cases. And so they're going to have to file bond motions for you in those cases.
I just paid all of those over, ma'am.
And your bonds were not revoked on any of the other times that you've come in, and you've been arrested multiple times. since-
They all were reduced, ma'am, and I had to pay them over. That wasn't my fault. It was whatever it was called.
You're going to have to talk to your attorneys about that. Please, oh,
You're on the
tell me your
next on the
name,
list.
sir. Okay.
Zwicker Timothy, mental health.
All right, I'm gonna appoint the public defender for Mr. Zwicker. And Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's 2020 CF 9173. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell or deliver, possession of fentanyl, possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bonds will stay at $5,000, $150, $150, and $150. Then there's an on-view violation of probation for Seminole County. There's probable cause for that. All right, so I'm gonna appoint the public defender here to represent him. And his bond will stay set at none at this time on the violation of probation. And then he has an open case. I'm not taking any action on the open case. It's out of Osceola. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Johnson Jermaine, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Jermaine, you're here on a violation of probation in 2014 CF 7087AO. And the judge did set your bond at none in the case. So I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You should be seen by Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. You do have reporting requirements that I have to advise you of, so make sure you comply with those if you need to do any reporting while you're here at the jail, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Celestino Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, you're here in 2018 CF 15043AO. It's a violation of probation warrant. The judge did set your bond at none, and I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for an arraignment. In the meantime, they can file any motions to set bond for you. You also have reporting requirements, so you need to make sure that if you need to report or do anything for that while you're at the jail, that you comply, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Frank Austin.
All right, Mr. Alston, this is an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. The judge did set your bond at none, and so I am going to appoint the public defender here to help you out with your case. They can file any bond motions as well, but one of the judges here will reach out to the judge in Seminole County to see if they'll give you a bond, and we should hear back in about a week. So you may get back on our docket in that time frame. We'll let you know what they say, but you can contact the public defender and they can file a bond motion for you, okay?
So does that mean I'll be here for a week until I hear back?
You'll be here until you get a bond or they come and pick you up, and I don't know when either one of those things would happen, okay?
All right.
So we'll probably see you back here in about a week for a status hearing,
All right, thank you.
okay? But you can contact the PD as well, okay? And then I have Samuel Ben-Gochia, but showing that he's not in jail. So did he maybe bond it out? It's a Seminole County warrant, 2001-6618.
Yes, we bonded.
Yeah, okay. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Juan Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, you're here on a Miami-Dade warrant. And the judge did set your bond at none in Miami-Dade. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender here to represent you, so you have some representation. One of the judges here will reach out to the judge in Miami-Dade to see if they will give you a bond.
Okay.
They may or may not, I don't know, but you'll come back for a status hearing on that. But you can call the public defender here in Orange County and they can file any motions for you here, okay?
Okay, so one quick question, Your Honor. I would like to sign the waiver for the 10-day extradition.
Well, nobody's transporting anybody right now, okay?
Okay.
Because of COVID. So that's why we're appointing the public defender for you here.
Okay, so quick question, Your
So-
Honor. Before the
Yeah.
whole COVID, it was 15 days with another 15-day extension, which is a whole 30 days for transportation. If they don't come in them 30 days, then the inmate will be released. How is
No,
it
that's-
working now?
That's not, so Mr. Gonzalez, that's actually not accurate. So
Okay.
the statute requires a reasonable amount of time. So I don't know if you're talking about out of state, but this is in state, and so it's a reasonable amount of time. So right now, we're not transporting, but we're
So-
giving you an attorney. We're giving you an attorney. We will contact the judge in Miami-Dade to see if
Okay.
they will give you a bond.
Okay.
If you'll hear back in a couple of days, we'll probably set you for a status hearing, let you know what they say. If they do not give you a bond, the public defender's office here can file a bond motion for you, and that would be heard at the courthouse downtown.
Okay, and what is the reasonable amount of time that you said that they do have if it comes to it?
It doesn't exist right now.
The time doesn't exist, so I can sit here
We're-
5 years waiting on Miami to transport me, man. I'm sorry for my tone of voice or whatever was so nice. If I'm talking to you any kind of way, I really apologize about that, Your Honor. It's just you got to understand in the time frame that I'm on, that I'm working. I have a stable housing that I have to maintain and take
Okay.
care about. You know, I just
Okay.
came here to Orlando
Listen to
because
me. Stop. I understand that you're frustrated and upset, but I didn't say that you'd be sitting here forever. We're in a state of an emergency, and so the people are not being transported. We've given you an attorney. You're not
Okay.
sitting in jail without an attorney.
All right.
They can file a bond motion for you. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting here and you don't have an attorney and you're just waiting for 5 years for somebody to pick you up. So that's not the
yeah, but
position
what
that
if
you're
what
in.
if my bond gets denied? Then what happens then, Your Honor?
Well, you file a bond motion. So if the judge in Miami will not give you a bond, you can file a bond motion here and it will be heard by a judge here.
Okay.
After that, you'll have to speak with an attorney to give you legal advice. I can't give you any legal advice. Okay.
I'm not being told anything. Like for real, I'm not being told anything right now.
I am
like-
telling you things.
All right, Your
You're
Honor.
choosing
quick-
not. You're
quick
choosing
question-
not to
quick-
listen.
Quick question, Your Honor.
You're choosing not to listen to what I'm telling you.
Okay, so basically, if the judge and within the next couple days or so, the judge in Miami is going to be contacted, correct?
Yes.
All right. So if the judge in Miami says no, we don't want it for whatever reason it is, then I will be released here, but
Then
still
you-
have a warrant.
Then you contact the public defender and they will file a bond motion for you here.
Okay.
I don't know how many other ways to explain it.
If in Miami they don't want me, then I file a bond motion here.
Correct.
But I don't have no cases here. Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day. How do I talk?
All right, tell me your name, please.
Jose Ruiz.
Mr. Ruiz, you're here on a Marion County warrant, and the judge set your bond at none in Marion County. I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you. It's a violation of probation. So, the judge here will contact the judge in Marion County to see if they will give you a bond. If not, the public defender here has been appointed, and they can file a bond motion for you here. Okay?
Yep, I understand. I understand from the last guy you explained it to.
Okay.
So
All
I do
right.
understand.
I'm glad you understand.
I did.
Good
Sorry.
luck.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody's listening. All right, please tell me your name.
Joseph Sensendaber.
Okay, Mr. Sensendiver, you're here on a Seminole County warrant. And the judge in Seminole did set your bond at none. I'm gonna appoint the public defender here to represent you. And so we're gonna contact the judge in Seminole, I think it's Seminole County,
Okay.
to see if they will give you a bond. And you'll hear back in a couple days from us, and you'll get back on the docket for a status hearing. In the meantime, you can contact the public defender. They can file a bond motion for you. You can talk to him about your case, okay?
All right. So there's no transport, right?
Not right now. I mean, it's sporadic, and I'm not sure. Seminole will pick some people up and then not others, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they told me last night that they were coming. So
Okay, they may
told
come,
the
they may
officer.
come, they may come and get you. I don't know. It's been sporadic with
Okay.
people as to who they're coming to get, but but we will still reach out to Seminole for you, okay?
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, good luck. All right, anything else? Nope. Okay, we are done for the day. Thanks, everybody.
It sure took a long time getting there. Oh. Go get here and cut this yard. Got all my stuff in the truck, so. It's the weekend.